different.
Like it was way grittier, way more raw.
Yeah, but it was still. It was like it was, and there was still like, when I was there, it was kind of at the tail end of like the Soho time. When it was really hip. Like when it was really hip, I bet you, like in the mid '70s to like mid '80s, I bet you Soho was the shit. Because there was like tons of artists. It was still cheap, huge loss, gritty. And then it's what happens, man. Anywhere, like
it's what happens everywhere. Yeah.
Artists start it. Artists move in because it's cheap. They make it cool. Then a cool cafe comes in, a cool bar, a cool restaurant, then a clothing store.
Then more people.
Then a couple more bars. Then everyone's.
As more people move in, then people get higher rent.
Yeah, then the rent goes up because it's a popular place to be. It's cool. It's where everyone wants to be. And then next thing you know, there's a McDonald's. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tony Prat. Let's do this 1-on-1 with Hotel Palms. Come on in, check it out.
About where you grew up, what year was it, what town, where did you live?
Alright, well, I'm first generation American. Dad was born in Cuba, my mom was born in France. They met in Miami. Had my older sister here in Jacksonville. I was born in the South Bronx in 1968. First we moved here and we got an apartment on the beach, like on the sand. So I was in the water at age 5 or 6, like I was on the beach, and very thankful for that move.
This was early 70s.
Yeah, early 70s. Yeah, and we had an apartment on the beach. She eventually worked her butt off and bought a house in Royal Palm for like $23,000. So I was in the water like since day one, and then started surfing. I mean, I first stood on a surfboard at 7, then got very into surfing at 11. Surfing freaking saved my life. Didn't play other sports. Quit soccer to surf. So I ended up hanging out with some older dudes that surfed at my street, and they are all into like new wave and punk rock and stuff. So they were turning me on to these records. So as soon as I got into that little group of friends, I was in the new wave of punk rock, and my life completely changed.
What are some of the earliest records that you remember listening to or having?
I mean, my first records, like when I was a little kid.
Probably more when you got into.
Yeah, when we were always a music family, so I was always listening to records. But then this guy Lang Shepard took me under his wing, and I went to his house, and he let me borrow a Sex Pistols record and a Devo record, and I brought that home, went in my bedroom, closed my door, and was just like mind blown. Like my life changed. I started dressing differently. That music just took over my life, and then it just went hand in hand with surfing, And then, then I got into the fashion and the art, and I would paint T-shirts and stuff. Back then, like I remember being like 15 or 16, painting on T-shirts, but didn't really sell anything. Just did it just for my own deal, and doing the hair and doing all that stuff. But always thrifting and finding stuff at thrift stores. And then that took me to wanting to travel. So at age 15, I started going to California. Every summer I go to California for at least 2 or 3 weeks. And then I moved there in '88. I turned 20 there, and I was living in LA for 4 months. This dude named Pat took me under his wing, and he had the best record collection I'd seen at that point. Well, besides my older sister. My older sister had a rad record collection. But he had a killer record collection. He was into everything, punk, and then that's when rap started to blow up. I hadn't really heard like gangster rap stuff, so he like turned me on to NWA and Ice-T. And I was already into like Public Enemy stuff, which Public Enemy was another big change in my life. I felt that was new punk rock to me when I heard Public Enemy. So I started getting into hip hop and stuff, and still listening to punk and everything, but like hip hop was blowing up and was really exciting to me. So I did 3 months in Hollywood. Then I did 3 months in Newport Beach. Was over surfing. I was 20. I was burnt on the surf scene. Wanted to change my life. Out of money. My sister said, my older sister was like, come to New York. I'll, get you a start.
So you left here 18.
19.
So
I left here
19.
19.
Went to California.
6 months, 7 months.
And then you went straight from California to New York. Tell us about that.
So I went to New York with $35 in my pocket. I was 20 years old. It was February. Like I said, all I had was a motorcycle jacket and a pair of Converse. So it was a brutal winter for me. Summer came around and my life changed. I got a good rhythm. I met some really good dudes that were my age. They were into riding their bikes all over the city. So they showed me the city. They showed me cheap places to eat. And then I met a pro skateboarder, Jeremy Henderson, who was from California. And he surfed, and he's like, dude, you need to get your board here. There's waves here. So I had, actually my buddy Pat from LA came to town. And I was like, bring my board, because I left my board in California. He brought my board, and then so I started surfing and hanging out in the city. And I didn't really get much done, but I experienced a lot. I learned a lot about New York. It was still super tough, so every time you stepped out, you had to be on point, watching your surroundings. I still tested that to the fullest.
How long were you in New York for?
I did about 3.5 years there, and like I said, I learned street stuff, but I didn't really learn any skills. I wanted to be in a band, but I didn't know how to go about it, and I didn't play any instruments at that point. So that brought me back to Jacksonville, because my friends were all in bands here in Jacksonville.
So you came back here what year?
I would say 92.
Okay. Maybe
early 93. Then got into Ringworm. I was like, I just want to be in a band. I'll be in any band. I would have been in a country band, I think, at that point. I just wanted to be in a band. The boys in Ringworm, they had put a little project together. They needed a singer, so I jumped in that. And that got my music thing started. Then I started playing instruments.
Yeah, that's when I was 10 or 12, and that's when I first started getting my first CDs.
Yeah.
And that Ringworm album was one of the first, I guess, like local CDs I got my hands on. And it was great.
When I got in the band, like the first 3 months, our drummer Danny near me was like, we're going to go on tour this fall. And I was like, what is he talking about? Like, I just thought big bands went on tour. I thought you had to have a record deal and money, And he's like, no, we're going on tour. And I didn't. I was just like, what is he talking? All summer long, he's booking his tour, and I got another show here. I was like, all right. And then we got in a van. I was like, we'll be back in 3 days, 6 weeks later, we're on the road.
You went back to New York, though?
I went back to New York. Yep, I went back to New York in 06, thinking I was cool. And got a job at a really cool bar. Realized I wasn't cool. Took my entire playlist of music and just put it to the side and started over. I was meeting people that were turning me on to all kinds of bands. So that, was a game changer. I started my life over again, basically.
Tell us, just in close, what you're working on right now, creatively.
Right now, really been bit by the art bug. Love playing with spray paint. Got 3 music projects. I got a band called Walk with Wolves. I've got a band called 9E. And then my solo project, the Tony Prat Experience. I'm hoping to put out a photo book. I'm kind of working with a friend named Jordan on that. Hopefully surf more. And maybe travel.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to London.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time to sit with us today.
Hotel Palms, 1-1. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.